Hello, Jeremy here from Premier Pools and Spas. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for allowing me into your home to discuss this project, this pool project of yours. We really appreciate the opportunity to design this pool and also hopefully we'll get the opportunity to build it for you. With that said, we will have an opportunity to build your proposal once you give us an okay or a thumbs up, if you will, on a design. So this first stage of the process really is all about the design, coming up with something that you love, and then also helping educate you about what your options are and helping prepare you for the inevitable comparison of proposals that you're going to gather from other builders. So I want to help you understand what to ask other builders and make it easier for you to make those comparisons. So I highly encourage you to take this design or whatever design we land on by the time we're done with our next meeting and take that design and get some other quotes, and then you'll have a much easier time comparing proposals. If you have any immediate feedback based on the design I'm about to show you, go ahead and send it to me. Text me, call me, email me, whatever you want to do to give me your feedback so that I can get some changes done before our Zoom call on Friday. However, we can make changes on that Zoom call as well, and once we get the changes done that you want to see, then I will go ahead and price it out for you, with you, in fact, so that you can see exactly how we build these proposals. So once again, thank you for the opportunity. We're really excited to work with you through this process, and I look forward to seeing you later this week. Thanks. Hello, here is your design. So you can see this blue line that goes around, that's your property line right there. And then of course this is your house. As we back up, you can see that I placed a pool down in that area that you have requested. You can see that we have the slope going down in your yard, and even where that pool is located, which is about, I don't know, between 50 and 55 feet from the house, the property still gently slopes away, so you're going to see a little bit of an elevation change after the pool as well. So what that really means is that what we would do is keep all the dirt on site that we're digging out of the ground, pile it all the way back here while we're building the pool. Then we backfill the pool area and then build the dirt up around here so that you can just gently slope that away. We may need extra dirt in order to do that because of that property sloping away, but we really don't know if we need extra dirt until we get to the backfill portion and see how that grading goes with the dirt that we have left over. So, just to let you know that that's a common expense that customers will experience, especially with yards that are have various elevations, a lot of elevation change. The need for extra dirt on occasion. So with that said, there may be enough to where we won't have to bring in extra dirt, but and that's how I would price it out initially. But once we get through the backfill stage, sometimes we do need extra dirt. You have the equipment pad over here by the pool. The reason I put it over here by the pool, and it doesn't need to go here, it can go pretty much anywhere, but what we want to do is make sure that the equipment pad is no further than 40 feet from the water line. And the reason is plumbers will charge a premium for every foot past 40. There's an additional fee assessed past 40 feet. So it's definitely past 40 feet from the house to get down to this area of your yard. But what we would do is we'll work together to figure out exactly where we want to put your equipment pad. Right now I just kind of have it off here to the side, and I put a little fence around it just so you wouldn't be looking at it if indeed it was down in that section. So I have more things that I'll show you. I've dressed up this design a lot. I just have those items hidden right now so they are not a distraction as we talk about the basic scope of the project. So what we have here is a freeform pool. You had mentioned that you liked the certain design in the brochure. That design had a spa right here that spilled over into the pool, but instead of a spa, what we've done is created a space for a fire pit, which you'll see here in just a little bit as I pull other items into the design. You have plenty of decking here for furniture. You have a tanning ledge here. I like to make the tanning ledges big enough for at least two full-size lounge chairs to fit in there, and that's exactly what I've done here. I have 3 bubblers on the tanning deck. The bubblers are great for aesthetic purposes, right? They look really cool. They also give you that running water sound, which a lot of people find very therapeutic. But functionally, what it does also is it helps circulate the water on this very shallow surface area. So this is only 3 inches under the water, this tanning deck. Which means that the sun hits that surface area faster and more directly than other areas of the pool, which means the water on these tanning decks tend to get pretty warm, which means it's very important to keep that water moving and circulating so that we can have more consistent temperature throughout the pool. It also helps move water and keep the area clean, and so bubblers have more than just an aesthetic purpose. So I put 3 bubblers on this tanning deck. However, if you do an in-floor cleaning system, the functional purpose of the bubblers now become irrelevant because the in-floor cleaner will circulate water and keep that surface area clean, but you would lose. So I'm saying you don't need bubblers if you have an in-floor cleaner. If you don't have an in-floor cleaner, I would absolutely have bubblers. So right now I have bubblers in there. We'll talk more about the in-floor cleaner, the cost, the benefits, etc., etc. It may be something you want or not want. It's a completely optional upgrade. So you'll learn more about that. Now, if we look at the specs of the pool, what we have here is an 18-inch raised feature in the back. With a 2-foot shear descent waterfall. So that's a 2-foot wide shear descent sheet of water. I'm going to lower that just a little bit because it would be under the lip of that wall. There we go. And then you have 2x2 columns that are 6 inches taller than the wall itself. I like to put these columns in. It really kind of finishes that look, right? It encapsulates that raised feature, and it gives it a little bit more of a finished look. But once again, those columns are optional. The raised feature is optional. Those shear descent's optional. These are all things that you can choose to pull out later. You can even make these columns 6 inches smaller in each direction, so they're not 2 feet by 2 feet, but maybe 18 inches by 18 inches. They would still look fabulous. So there's another way to save some money. I'm always looking for ways to cut down on the cost of the project if needed. I did put a bench in that area right there, so you can sit there and have that water running over you. And then, of course, you could always just turn that shear descent waterfall off at any time. You are going to, let's look at the specs of the pool really quick before we bring in all the bells and whistles and all the fancy stuff that I put in this design. If we look at our envelope is about 34, almost 34 and a half feet long by about 21 and a quarter feet wide. The envelope is that rectangular square, that rectangle that you see, that green rectangle, and that's just pool terminology. That would be the envelope of the pool. Then you have the volume of the pool with a depth of 3.5 feet to 5 feet. Your volume is 12,726 gallons for this particular pool. Your surface area, excuse me, Alexa, stop. Sorry, I had an alarm there. Your surface area is going to be 521.61 feet, and then your perimeter measurement is 96 feet and 2.5 inches. So these are all the measurements that we use to price out the pool. As far as the decking goes, right now we currently have around the pool 587.74 square feet of decking. That's a combination of, right now in this design, I put a combination of, excuse me, let's get where we need to be. We have a Napoli Bellegarde Appian style paver. This is a concrete paver on the primary deck. And then you have travertine coping for your pool. We always use travertine for our pools on coping. It's just the very best product that you can use. It's not going to fail. It's not going to fall apart. It's cooler to the touch. The slip coefficient is really nice because it's not slippery when wet, and it's a little bit more comfortable, a lot more comfortable to sit on than a concrete paver coping. But then what I did was I pulled that travertine and bordered the entire decking solution with the same travertine just to bring some uniformity to it. However, you don't need this travertine perimeter right here. You could just do a concrete coping perimeter to match this deck here and save a little bit of money. But once again, I'll show you where all your costs are when we build the proposal, and you'll have a really good idea of what you want to keep in the design, what you want to change, etc., etc. I made a very custom entryway. So you see you have like an oversized first step right here. Then the second step, I made the same height as this bench right here that connects to the tanning ledge. Then you have your other 2 steps leading down to a 3.5 depth shallow end. Then you have your bench over here and your tanning deck. This bench over on the back end, and then the tanning deck does serve the need for a second mode of egress, a second way to get out of the pool, which is needed per code, right? So we have to have a second bench. So you don't have to put another bench on this side. However, if you want to add one into the deep end, I'll be happy to add one in there as well. But once again, just looking for opportunities to save you money. You have your MDX main drain that accepts debris up to about a walnut size. So it accepts leaves, stuff that's going to fall in that pool. If it makes its way past the skimmers and sinks to the bottom, it can be pushed towards the main drain and sucked up there, which will take that debris over to a canister, if you will, over here in the equipment pad that you can empty. So you would have 2 skimmers on this pool, 2 lights, oversized main drain that accepts debris, oversized plumbing, oversized pump, cartridge filtration, et cetera, and you're going to get a lot more information on the specs of all that stuff during our next meeting. Then we have an area. I built this area for a fire pit over here. So I think it's time to unveil like the full design here. So what I've done is I put a little bit of landscaping, some lighting, some furniture, just dressed it up, the fire pit. All these things I put in here to show you what this could be. I put a walkway here from the house so you can see with that current placement of the pool itself, you could see it easily from your French doors inside the house. Then you walk out of the house and I created a walkway. Now, like if you want to do a walkway like this, I would recommend, like we could do it for you, but it's always more expensive to have a builder do this kind of stuff than it would be to have like even a landscaper or just somebody, a handyman, if you will, come in and do this. So I always try to find ways for you to save money. At the end of the day, if you want to spend a little more because of convenience factor and have us do all this stuff, I can certainly price it out for you. Then you come down to the pool itself. And what I've done is I've created more of a tropical feel. I don't know what your preference is, but I just went with a tropical feel with a few palm trees, birds of paradise, a few other tropical plants that work together. I put furniture out here so you can see scale. You've got plenty of furniture out there, a place to lay down here and in the pool. Also just a seating area with a cantilevered umbrella for shade, a fire pit with a few chairs around it. You can put more chairs around there. If you want to make this fire pit area bigger, of course you can. You have a 4-foot walkway going around the entire pool, which is comfortable enough to have 2 people walking by each other if needed. And then, these planters, I once again, dressed it up. You may want to put some planters on the back end as well. Right now I kept everything on the front end because we don't have an elevation drop right in here, but you do have this elevation drop in the back further into your yard. So if we turn off the sun and make it nighttime, you can see what this pool is going to look like with 2 lights. So you can see here we have 2 lights in the pool. Those lights are going to be on the house side pointed towards that water feature, so that water feature glows. I don't want you looking at the lights themselves. I want you to see a glowing pool, and that's really what that light positioning does. So now your lights are shining right on that water feature, kind of makes it glow, highlights that feature, which is really what you'd want. I did put these landscape lighting in. We don't do landscape lighting, but I just want to give you some ideas of what you could do there. And just once again, just dressing it up to show you what it would look like. One recommendation I have is, because once again, we're trying to keep this within a certain budget and I want to help you get there. Things like this fire pit right here. Custom built fire pits are extremely expensive to build, but aftermarket fire pits that you can purchase and just have delivered and just set there, especially if it's just a wood burning fire pit, you're going to spend probably 3 to 4 times as much on a fire pit if it's custom built versus if you just got something aftermarket and set it there. Now, I'm perfectly fine building a fire pit for you, and I'll price that out for you so you can see what that would cost, but just keep in mind that that is a very easy way to save some money on your project, and probably a few $1,000s, save a few $1,000s by having an aftermarket fire pit just to set there that you can move later even if you wanted to. These custom built ones obviously are going to be permanent fixtures. We have pebble interior here. I have a blue surf colored pebble finish. That pebble finish is going to last pretty much forever. You're never going to really have to refinish this pool. But if you got regular plaster, you're going to have to refinish your pool in about 10 to 15 years. We'll talk more about that as well during our next meeting. You have your waterline tile, 6-inch waterline tile, a bunch of different options for color. So you have a lot of choices as far as interior finish, tile finish, coping colors, decking materials and colors, etc., etc. Lots of things to choose from, and I'll help walk you through that process as needed when we move forward. So once again, you can see during different times of the day what this pool is going to look like, and I hope you love the design. Of course, if you have feedback for me, if you know you want something to change, just let me know, and I'll have that changed before our next meeting on Friday. However, I look forward to that Zoom call where I will go ahead and make any changes you want. and then I will build the proposal with you. I like to build the proposal so you can see how it's created, see what the inputs are. We're very transparent in that way, and it's really going to help you make sure you're asking all the right questions to every builder you talk to when you're comparing proposals. So I really want you to walk away from your experience with me as educated as you possibly can be, very knowledgeable and very confident in your decision moving forward. All right, so I hope this is helpful. I thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to our next meeting. Talk to you soon.